So that will work well. As you turn your head, you'll be able to film Steve and I.
I'm with Stephen Galster, an environmental and human rights investigator based in Thailand.
About this, we've got the lenses in the backpack, right?
We're getting ready for an undercover operation using secret cameras.
So this should work quite well for us. This just all tucks away in here.
Our target, an illegal wildlife market in Bangkok. Places like this, and so-called wet markets, where wild animals are sold for food, are where coronavirus first jumped from animals to humans.
So in viral terms, these things are really living petri dishes, aren't they?
Yeah, there's sleeping time bombs across the region right now.
Stopping the zoonotic jump at source is, of course, critical.
In Hong Kong, Professor Gabriel Leung is at the centre of the scientific fight against coronavirus.
We are progressively building
A fight that began at a wildlife market in Wuhan, China.
Does the virus transmit into humans through people eating these animals or just handling them?
probably the highest risk during the handling process, where you have animals under stress, therefore their immune system is down, and then through the handling process, including slaughter, that's when the highest risk of jumping from animal to humans would have occurred.
Experts aren't certain, but the suspicion is that in Wuhan, coronavirus crossed to humans from the most trafficked wild animal in the world, the pangolin.
Pangolins have been high on the menu for a while. Whatever it was an animal. It jumped from an animal to a person. It's a wild animal that's been taken out of its natural environment, consumed in some way, come into contact with people in an unnatural way. That's the lesson here.
Do you find it mystifying that you can have a grandparent dying in an aged care home in Sydney from an animal that was sold in a market in China?
Yeah. No, it's incredible. I have to say, we're not surprised because we've been working on this for years. We've been trying to warn people that, this is global.
We're walking into the heart of Bangkok's immense Chatuchak market to see how seriously Thailand's authorities are taking the threat that coronavirus has so dramatically exposed. Here in hot, squalid and cramped conditions, wild animals smuggled in from all over the world.
I think of this place as a torture chamber and a filthy laboratory all mixed into one.
From AIDS to SARS, and now the pandemic affecting over 80 countries worldwide. Most new diseases infecting mankind are caused by a virus that began in a wild animal and leapt to humans in settings just like this.
They've all been pulled from their natural environment, brought thousands of miles in some cases all the way here in contaminated conditions, bringing with them God knows what, with literally thousands of people here today. It's a perfect storm, really, for the Wuhan thing to happen again right here.
As part of its desperate efforts to contain coronavirus, China closed over 20,000 wet markets. But wildlife markets like this are still operating with impunity across Asia, run by organised crime syndicates.
These syndicates, we know who they are. We've been following them for years, and they're still out there, and they're not going to close down business today because China, closed down Wuhan. These are like drug dealers, you make it difficult to sell drugs in one neighborhood, they're going to move to another.
Huddled in their cages and glass boxes are everything from Australian cockatoos, even blue-tongue lizards, to African meerkats, European ferrets, rare tortoises and snakes. These animals are never together in the wild and so are vulnerable to viruses carried by each other. In these terrible conditions, those viruses can pass to the humans who handle them. The next global pandemic could easily begin in one of these cages.
So what are they selling that iguana for? Is that for meat?
อะไรนะครับ4,500 หรอ so you can do whatever you want with it. That'll cost about $150 US.
Then, deep within the market, a single shop that should rightly terrify a world reeling from coronavirus. An African serval cat, a fennec fox from the Sahara, and marmosets from South America.
This is just incredible. You know, African cats, snakes, you've got monkeys, primates, in the same confined space. Has no one told these people that this is where the other viruses came from?
Well, we have, and we've told them this is Wuhan in the making, number 2, and so we're asking them to shut it down because it's a prescription for disaster. All within this small, hot room, ready to infect somebody.
That is amazing. I've seen it all now.
Yeah.
So if you want to stop the next pandemic, it's going to have to be truly a global attempt to shut these markets down.
Yeah, I mean, look, coronavirus is spreading all over the world. So that should tell us we need to not just shut down the markets in China. You need to shut them down in Thailand, Indonesia, Laos, Cambodia, Burma, and perhaps other countries as well. Otherwise, it's going to expand or recur.
If our response to the coronavirus catastrophe is global, and it has to be, then surely our response to the deadly threat posed at the very source of these viruses must be equally global.
This trade is global, goes everywhere, and a virus that jumps from one animal could go, back to my country or any other country. And I hate to say it, but I think the pangolin, in this case, the most heavily trafficked mammal in the world, whose only defense is to curl up into a ball, has decided that conservationists weren't doing enough. It struck back itself. I think this is Mother Nature's revenge.
Coming up,
Give it all you got. Throw everything at it.
are you ready
We are facing a health challenge.
for the fight of your life?
For every death, expect to see 80 to 100 cases.
What Australians must do
Designed our ICU with a pandemic mode.
to beat the coronavirus.
If you're extremely lucky, you might even be able to contain it.
That's next on 60 Minutes.